first ever Lindy's Garden podcast. I'm very excited to spend some time with you, and I think I want to talk through maybe an issue you've been having. I'm just a little bit psychic, and I kind of know that there's something that's been bugging you in the future that you're worried about. Something upcoming that your mind is just thinking, oh, I have to worry about this thing. And I think I have some important things to tell you about it, some things that will be useful to you. And I want to start every podcast off with a quote. This is a quote by someone else because I'm not that much of an old man, but it goes like this. I am an old man and have known a great many troubles, but most of them never happened. I love this one. So what does it mean, little bunny? What do you think that means? To me, it means that our brains have this tendency to just worry about the future. And they're never actually as bad, the things, when they come along. Maybe it's a test you're worrying about, or a job interview, or a presentation you have to give. Maybe it's a conversation you don't want to have. Maybe it's with someone you don't like even, or maybe even worse, it's with someone that you love and you have to tell them what they don't want to hear. But anyway, we just can't stop worrying about them. And this quote to me is saying that the worst things in life are the worrying about these awful things that will happen, because they're never as bad as they seem to, that your brain is trying to tell you. And we always imagine these disaster scenarios where things go horribly wrong. And then it's always just fine. But then your brain moves on right away to the next thing to worry about, doesn't it? So I want to talk you through that. And the good news is that I am quite confident that that feeling that you have is an illusion. It's totally unnecessary, and it's just simply incorrect. And I want to help you realize that and help you move past this reflex to just worry about the future. So I want you to bring to mind something that you are worrying about. And you're already mad at me for making you worry about this. You thought this was going to be a podcast where I just relax you and you get to be nice and peaceful. Well, now you're worrying about something in the future, and you can feel maybe a little bit in your gut, or your heart is racing just a little bit. There's this thing in the future that's worrying you. Now, I want you to imagine that this part of your brain that's making this happen is not really you. It's happening a little bit more automatically, isn't it? Think of it as a shadow on the wall that has big fangs and is ready to devour you, and it's just causing all of this anxiety and all of this concern. So just imagine that it's the shadow on the wall that makes you feel this anxiety and this tightness and this worry about the future. Now I want to talk to you about why that shadow exists. Why does your mind have this? It's a feature of evolution. It's an adaptation that helped your great grandfathers and your great grandmothers survive and pass their genes on. And it eventually brought you here. It's the reason you're here. And do you know how these adaptations arise in nature? Can you remember back to biology class, little bunny? Were you paying attention like a good little bunny? It's the process known as survival of the fittest. And if you think about back in the day, there's a lot more of a danger. This is thousands of years ago. There's so much more of a danger that you're not going to survive. You're either going to starve or you're going to get ripped apart in some grisly way, which we don't need to think about too much. But imagine, let's think of a scenario where you're really hungry and you've got to go fight this boar, and you've got to beat the boar to get the food. And if you lose to the boar, well, then you die. So you know it's coming up because the hunt is coming up, and you're going to go out with your tribe. And the whole time, your brain has this feature where there's the little shadow of fangs in your head cast on the wall. And it's saying, you've got to worry about this, okay? Can you learn how to fight better with a spear? Can you practice? Can you learn how to run away when the moment you got to plan ahead and know when to run away? Maybe you can find another way to find food. Can you go forage? Can you learn how to farm? Can you figure out some way? And then even further in the future, when you have learned how to farm, well, you got to work. You got to really, really work to make sure you don't starve. And you've got to really, really work to find someone to protect you if you don't want to be the one to fight Little Bunny. Or maybe you've got to seduce a very strong and able-bodied man or whoever. Well, whatever your brain decides to do, the fact that you can worry about it, and that you have to worry about it, and that you can't ignore that shadow on the wall, that's what helps your ancestors survive and bring you here. Now here's the crazy part. We've essentially solved all those troubles, all those reasons that you had to worry. You're not going to starve, Little Bunny, especially if you live in a more developed nation. And in these more developed nations, you're not really worried nearly as much about your personal safety. You've got to be street smart. You've got to be in the right places or avoid the wrong places. Maybe we'll talk about that more in the future, but just going about your daily routine, you're not so worried about someone coming in and stabbing you with a spear, or some saber-toothed tiger bursts through your window at work and rips you to shreds. That's just not something that's going to happen. So the unfortunate part is this feature of your mind, this adaptation that helped you survive. Well, it never developed a system to turn off. So now you're stuck with this technology, this biological technology that's making you worry about these much, much, much smaller problems. You're worrying about not life and death things. Your shadow on the wall needs to worry about something because that's what it's designed to do. And so it just picks anything. It picks the smallest thing that's available and it just worries about it. And you'll never be rid of the fear by just trying to not have things in your life that could go wrong. Yeah, you want to just live your life, but there is a solution, and I'm going to teach it to you. So the first thing to understand is that this, whether it's a voice in your head or a tendency to get nervous, this shadow with fangs on the wall, it loves you. It loves you because it wants you to survive. It's on your team. It thinks it's helping you, but it just doesn't know that you live in a much, much easier time comparatively. We have our challenges, and that's what this podcast is going to be all about, is going through those challenges and just working through them and realizing that really it's not so bad. So now I want to give you my counter argument. These are the words, the antidote, the mantra I want you to tell yourself whenever you feel worried about the future. You ready? Everything is going to be okay. I really mean it, Little Bunny. This isn't something that I saw on a yogurt lid and decided to read to you. This isn't something that I saw on a meme with the bee beach and the sunset as a backdrop. This is the truth, little bunny. And notice, do you have any kind of reaction to say, no, daddy, no, it's not going to be okay. You're lying to me. It's going to be terrible. Well, just notice that, and notice that that's the automatic system that's left over from survival of the fittest. And remember that that voice loves you and wants to protect you. And do you want to know the hilarious plot twist about what that voice really is? Picture the shadow on the wall with the fangs. And then we're going to turn around slowly and see the campfire and the little puppy dog that's casting the shadow. That fear, little bunny, that thing, that part of your brain that's causing that fear, it's just a little puppy dog that wants to protect you. It goes, yap, 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 yap. You gotta worry about this, you gotta worry about that. And your job now, after I've come into your life, is to just pat the little puppy on the head. Give some strokes to their fur, watch their tail wag, and them get excited as they realize they've done a good job to keep you safe. You just say, thank you, little puppy. Thank you for wanting to keep me safe. And then you just put it to the side and remember my words. Everything is going to be okay. All right, little bunny, I want to end the podcast with a poem I wrote just for you. But before that, let's go through the housekeeping. First order of business, little bunny. How many platforms are you following me on? You better not say one, and here's the reason. If one of the platforms goes down, I don't want you to lose me. I want you to follow me on at least 2, and I would love if you just follow me on all of them, but I'll leave that up to you. The first one is going to be this podcast. If you're not subscribed, subscribe now. And this is going to be a little bit of a therapy session. And I want to say that I'm not a therapist, and I encourage you, if you think that you do need a therapist, seek out that help. I'm very much in favor of therapy. I've been in therapy before, and it's very, very useful. So I'm just kind of a daddy figure that's going to help talk you through these things and use the wisdom that I've learned and developed in my life to help me get out of some very, very low, bad, rock bottom levels of depression, which has brought me to undoubtedly the best period of my life, where I'm feeling very stable and very happy, and I've really solved all of the troubles that come with modern life, and it puts me in a place where I want to be here for you. So that's the podcast. Next, you probably know me on TikTok/Instagram. That's where there's fun 30-second videos. They're definitely a little bit spicy, which is why I want you to make sure that you're following me on more than one platform, especially more than just TikTok, because even though I'm within community guidelines, there's algorithms that just take the ban hammer and they just smash accounts left and right. So you never know, one day you can wake up and the Lindy's Garden TikTok is just totally gone. Okay, next up is YouTube. This is for 18 and up, and it's where I like to post my fiction. The current project I'm working on is called A Year of Love and Ligature. It's very fun to write, and it's of a spicy variety, but very plot heavy as well. So it's doesn't quite fit into the category of typical fiction or the category of erotica. So if you're interested in some fiction to hear me read something that I've written, find me there. The next episode premieres live on May 13th. So mark it on your calendars, and on the day of or the day before, be sure to check in to see what time it'll be. Or I might announce it on the podcast, but it's going to be in the evening. Okay, next up is the most important platform that I'm on, and it's really the heart of the garden. This is Lindy's Garden, and it's the Patreon. It's behind a locked gate, and you need to have a key to get in. It's basically the cheapest subscription that I could possibly justify on Patreon, and it gives you access to the most special content, the most special audios. And that's where we're going to be building our community of little bunnies, so you can make friends with other people who love to listen to Daddy talk about whatever Daddy does. So if you are able to subscribe, that's a really, really wonderful place. And I do have a free audio on there. It's the very first one that I made. It's on February 16th. If you scroll down all the way, you don't have to sign up or subscribe or anything. And it's one that's the most requested that I have, which it helps you fall asleep. So that's a very effective audio. And if you're unable or just not ready to join the Patreon, well, you can still do your part. I want you to write a review of this podcast, especially because it's just starting out. Because if we can get this thing to really blow up, that would make me very happy, because I want the garden to be very, very big and very, very successful. I have large ambitions, so I need your help. I can only do so much. And if you can't write a review, then at least leave a rating. That would really, really help. And I think that's all of our housekeeping announcements. I'm Lindy's Garden on all of them. For Patreon, you have to type in patreon.com/Lindy's Garden, because that's behind an 18 and up wall. So if you search Lindy's Garden in Patreon, it won't actually come up. It might come up on Google, but it's best just to go patreon.com/Lindy's Garden. Okay, you ready to end with your little poem, Little Bunny? This was written just for you for this episode titled Everything is Going to Be Okay. It's always the worst your imagination conceives. Is it ever really as bad as your silly brain believes? Trust me, it's true. Once these chapters have passed, these worries and frustrations, they simply don't last. They'll be long forgotten, all melted away. This will soon be the past. Just get through today. You'll be fine, I promise. Just remember me say that, little bunny, trust me, everything's okay. I wish you the best for your week, little bunny. Wishing you lots of love, genuine love. Don't be cynical. I really, really do love you, and I really, really do care about you. None of this is acting, okay? So receive my